Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Queen Dao. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager at Aiven. In this session, we will talk about real-time streaming and processing with Apache Kafka and Apache Flink. We have two very special speakers to walk you through this topic. Jason Hepp, Director of Solutions Architect at Aiven, and José Farfán, Vice President of Data at Lottoland. So first, Jason will explain for us what Apache Flink is and show us some common use cases of Flink. Next, we will be hearing from Jose about how Lottoland is using Flink and Kafka. After that, Jason will show us a demo how you can build a real-time scoring and ranking system using different tools that Aiven provides. We would love to hear from you, so we will end the webinar with a Q&A section. If you have any questions during the talks, please put the questions into the LinkedIn chat or go to webinar question tab. Our team will pick up the questions and the speakers will try to answer as many of them as possible at the end of the webinar. The webinar would also be recorded, and the recording of the webinar would be available later at Aiven YouTube channel. That's it for me. Shall we start with the main part of this event? Let me give the virtual stage to Jason Hepp to introduce Flink. Over to you, Jason.
Thank you, Quinn. And maybe we can go to the next slide, please. What we want to dive into while we're moving to the next slide is Apache Flink and how Aiven is bringing Flink to the masses through our platform here. Hopefully we can move to the next slide. And with that, I'll just keep sort of moving as we get that figured out. Yeah, so the easiest way that we want to get started is first of all, who's Aiven, right? Aiven is a platform that we have been developing for about 6 years. And what we try to do is we bring the open source community of tools to okay, I think I can see a slide. Hopefully we're on the right slide here. I'm going to move backwards one. This one's perfect. The deeper look into some of the common use cases of Apache Flink. So first of all, just to finish my thought, we bring open source tools to the masses. It's always a challenge sometimes to stand up your own Postgres, stand up your own Kafka, and now with Flink. These are complex systems, and the goal of Aiven is to bring these capabilities, very rich, very strong capabilities to end users, so that end users and developers can add value to their business rather than having to worry about high availability, outages, disaster recovery, backup. That's all taken care of from Aiven. So now, how does Flink, what can we do with Flink? What are some of the benefits of Flink? What I want to first talk about is that these are just some of the high-level capabilities that they're bringing to end users for such things as, say, alerting, real-time analytics and dashboards, and then real-time transformations. Flink allows you to bring your business from a batch mode into a streaming mode. We're able now to just use straight SQL, very simple SQL statements, so that we don't have to, wait on engineering or your data engineering department to build really robust pipelines to, get your raw data, clean your data, put your data somewhere so that then we can start gaining valuable insight on it. It just happens. You're going to be able to put your end users, your data scientists, your data analysts, even your finance department directly onto your data going forward with Flink to learn valuable insights about your data. Let's go to the next slide. With this, I want to just talk a little bit about the ecosystem that is the Flink ecosystem of Aiven. Flink, as you see, is in the center of our ecosystem as we're going forward because of the power that it allows us to gather and collect data from multiple disparate data sources. So right now, our Flink service that is in beta mode allows you to pull data from Postgres or Kafka. From there, we can also output data to Postgres or Kafka. We also have the capability to push data out to something like OpenSearch. And for those of you that don't know, OpenSearch is the open source solution now that is replacing Elasticsearch. Elasticsearch has changed their license, and OpenSearch is what has come out of that from the open source community. we're able to push our data to any of these systems so that anyone downstream can continue to use your enriched data. From there, we can put on either OpenSearch dashboards for visualizing the data, as well as Grafana dashboards for building additional metrics and monitoring and alerting. Let's get into some of the really high level to start, those creative juices flowing for you. Alerting. It's before, when we had data coming in through Kafka, for example, we would have to build, microservices or different capabilities to say when a particular threshold was reached. Let's imagine we're monitoring IoT sensors for temperature or something to that effect. If the temperature is too high, we want to alert on it, or if it's too low. And those thresholds would have been potentially pulled in from, say, Postgres, because that's a static lookup table. Here, Flink, with one SQL statement, can join that data and produce the alert going to an output topic, and we can make actionable events from that. Oops, going backwards, excuse me. The next high-level, very powerful capability is windowing. Windowing, when you're trying to build a window of data, which is basically an aggregation of data over some amount of time, is really, really challenging when having to build in a microservices framework. Why? Well, if you're in a microservices framework, you have the worry about the things such as auto-scaling your microservices. When you're managing the state, what happens when that microservice goes down? What happens to the window? Do you lose it? Do you pick it up somewhere else? Are you missing state? Who really knows? The power of Flink is that with that capability of building Flink across a cluster, you're now going to have that windowing and the state management all in one central place. So we can be doing stream processing, gathering the windows, in this case of aggregating taxi cabs or maybe Uber pickups or Lyft pickups in a particular region, and we can build real-time heat maps for maybe there's an event that's happening right there. Maybe a movie lit out and we need more taxis to go pick up patrons leaving the movies. Data filtering. This is really, really powerful, especially in situations where you have PII data, PCI data, or even GDPR data. As we get raw data coming in, and we want to make sure that various aspects of our business don't get the, quote, leaked data to them, we want to either filter out the PII or GDPR data or mask it. That data is rich in value for others to use, but obviously we don't want to have to go to all the corners of our business. So allowing us to basically filter out the data or mask the data is a very simple capability that Flink brings to solve this problem for you. And we're actually going to use a little bit of this later on in the demo. Now, this was always a challenge where you're trying to aggregate data across multiple topics. Flink does this very simply. We're going to use this one directly later on in the demonstration. But the idea here is, if, for example, we have orders and shipments, we can get a real-time view of maybe our inventory, or if we're trying to join multiple disparate data sources, rather than a batch approach where we can only batch maybe everything every hour. Are we running low on something? Are we missing things? Now we can see in real-time dashboards, and we can alert, and we can stay ahead of our inventory pipelines or any other piece of data that we have to look across multiple streams. Again, this is all done through SQL, and we're going to show you how to do this. And lastly, I want to just say, thank you again for Jose joining today. So I wanted just to set the stage for things that you're thinking about and that we can do with Flink. But now I really want to let Jose take over and give a little bit of real boots on the ground of what Lottoland is doing with Flink and on their on-premises service right now.
Thank you, Jason, for the Flink introduction. I find the real-time analytics dashboard use case especially exciting with so many potential applications. Well, let's hear from José Farfán how Flink is being used in Lottoland. Jose, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Win. Thank you, everyone, to come to the webinar. I appreciate that opportunity to talk about Flink. Okay, my name is Jose. I'm working for Lottoland company. That is a company based in Gibraltar. And we are focused on lottery, casino, sport books. I'm going to move to the next presentation. Can we move? Okay. Then this is the plan for today. I'm going to introduce me first, then Lottoland. Then I'm going to explain a bit about how is BI system defined, how Flink fit in the BI system. Then I will describe the different use case that we are doing and talk about the specific use case. I would like to talk about technology, but I think I prefer to focus on a use case to see how we are using Flink in our business. Then I'm working from BI system for the last 10 years. Really, I am software engineer and developer. I like programming, but with the time you need to move to another task. Then I specialize in finance system, retail, supply chain, and the last 12 years I'm working for business intelligence. And in the last 8 years, I'm working for like VP of data in Lottoland. I focus on the BI systems. I integrate all the data from different sources, and I publish the data to different consumers. No? In BI system, we say that if the data is not consumed for anyone, we don't need to have the data in the system. No? Then one of our main tasks is be sure that everyone consume the data that they want, and the more important now, when they want. No? This is my day-to-day program. No? It's a Lottoland system. We have more than 200,000 active players in last month. We have more than 50 million players registered. We are running different verticals: lottery, casinos, sportbooks. Every of them has different problems. You need to understand the logic. We are processing every day 200 to 300 million events. Sometimes we have a peak of 1 billion. We have integration with a lot of different systems, batch, real time. It's very, very complex. And our data is consumed by 100 users. We have Lottoland have 400 employees, and I think more than half of them are using the data from BI. Lottoland is a company based in Egypt, but now we have an office in Germany, USA, Australia, around the world. And this is a view of what we are doing in BI. No? We are consuming data from all different system sources, payment providers, web pages, and we produce, enrich, and send information to different departments. And now the department want to see the information from different point of view. Then it's not like 10 years ago, and the reports are very specific. Now, for example, I have a system report that he want to see everything from different point of view. We have compliance, asking data from clickstream, from finance, or behavior of the player. And then our system start to be very, very complex. It's not a simple system that is not easy. It takes a lot of time to create everything. And the tools that we need to use, we need to have really power tools. No, it's not now with SQL. It's not enough. We need to have something more powerful. This is interesting view. This is infrastructure of BI. How it's very, very simple. But you can see in the left bottom, you can see from where we get the data. We get data in different formats. We get data from streamings, relational database. We get data that is schemaless. Then we have a first step that is an event store, where we have the last value of the data that we are receiving. No? But in the last 3 years, we have a new system that is real time. We are consuming the data when it's arrived to the BI system. We are processing the data. We enrich the data with different sources, and we save the data in our enterprise data warehouse. Our enterprise data warehouse at the beginning was MySQL. Then we moved to Vertica DB, it's a database from SP. Then we moved to Hive F3, and now we are working with Snowflake. And from this source of data, or the BI system analyst, data engineer are consuming the information and send information to different targets, reporting tools, API systems, provide data ad hoc queries, a lot of different tools. But here, whereas Flink is coming to make our life really, really easy, because it allows us to ingest data in real time, enrich the data in real time, processing the data in real time, and make everything more easy. We talk a bit more later about this. These are our collection of tools that we are using. We have a lot of tools. One of the new tools that we're using now is Aiven. We start to use an Aiven with Kafka. It's make our life more easy. And now we are planning to use also with Flink. I don't want to be in detail about this tool, but I feel that you know a lot of them. No, it's not. We are focusing on open source tools. We try to use open source. We have few tools also only for that is private tools. There's other reporting tools, but all the more important tools are open source, and we are very happy to use open source. Okay, why Flink is so important for us? I want to focus on three areas: finance integration, market integration, and compliance. Compliance is our last topic. Finance integration. We are processing the data in real time. Finance is the main topic of the system. At the end, any business want to make money. We need to present all the data to the business. In the beginning, we have I remember 20 years ago, I did a weekly reports. Then 10 years ago, I said, no, we need to have a daily reports. A few years after, no, I want to have all the reports. And now we want to have real-time reports. But imagine Lottoland, that is a company that is multi-market. We are in a lot of countries. We are like 50 markets, different countries, different currency. If we want to show all the finance information based in markets, country, currency, products, verticals, we need to make a lot of like joins, no? We need to merge the information from all different sources. Usually with SQL, you can do it easily, no? But now, if you need to do in near real time, Flink is your best friend, no? It's easy to get the data from different sources, join, enrich, process, and present the data in the way that the user can consume and can review the information. Market integration is another big topic. I say all the time, we are not a game company, we are a marketing company, because our half of the time we are working with marketing people, and we are providing the data to all the tools that marketing are using, no? A lot of different tools. And compliance is our last topic. It's NIMR. We need to apply for different regulatory in the market, and then we need to provide data to auditors. We have specific tools to be sure that we are compliant. It's a new element of the games. And also, why is Flink so important for us? Well, I told, no, but there's something that's very, very, very important for Flink. Flink is a streaming tool. At the beginning, it was a batch tool, but they moved to streaming. But really, it's not only a streaming tool. It's a set of quality. It's out the box. You have a lot of things that make ECU to produce high quality code, because only using the libraries and interface that Flink provides. For example, you have a recovery capacity. Imagine our system is very, very complex. We have lots of machines. We have software running on-premise. We have software running in the cloud. We have software running in other parts of the world, not only in one place. Imagine normal use case. Someone is doing some change in the firewall. They try to do the best, but usually we have some problem. we lost the network connection for 20 minutes, 50 minutes. Then the Flink process, by default, that's incredible, is be able to recover from the loss of a service. When you have a lot of process running, your system need to be able to recover by default. Our BI process, our time, be able to recover by example, if we lost some data for a few hours, the reporting is our time within the reports for the last 3 days. But how we can do this with in stream in real time? With Flink is really, really easy. This is it's incredible. It's like magical. Another feature, for example, save point and checkpoints. The system is doing checkpoints. It depends how you configure, no? Okay, and you can do also save points. Then, for example, I have a process calculating some data for marketing. I make save points every 10 seconds to be sure that the data, I never lost any data. And do save points every day or every 3 hours in an external system to in case that I lost the system, I can recover. This is something it's near to magic. You can implement this developing, but with Flink, you have this by default. And this is the best one. I think for me is one of the best tools that I never see, because it makes it easy for me to focus on what really give value to my company. No, I focus on data. I focus on understand the information, and the technology is secondary for me. It's like a tool. No, and Flink make it able to me to focus in information, not focus in the solve this type of problems. And another big topic that we started to use Kafka in version 0.7 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now, in the BI system, Kafka is the core of the system. Every data is moved in Kafka. All the connection, integration, I'm doing with Kafka. And Flink is is a friendly tool using Kafka. It's easy. You can use simple topic, easy. You can use topics with a multiple partition. Sometimes some process is very, very complex. In other language, it takes some time to understand how to make the commit, how to make everything working. And one feature that I like a lot from Kafka is topic log compaction. I use in this type of configuration to recover the last value of a data sets. Then, for example, I can have a Flink process that all time have the last value of players, the last value of accounts. And another thing that's very, really interesting and very important is how Flink works with the parallelism. Imagine you have a Kafka partition with 4 partitions, and then you want to process, but sometimes the process is consuming a lot of resources. Then you need to use multiple threads. Then you're not going to create more partitions in Kafka. Then with Flink, it's easy to define the parallelism by at task level. That makes easy. Then you have, for example, I using only 1 partition. Then when the Flink process is low, what I do, I increment the parallelism of Flink, make the process, and then when the process finishes, I convert again in 1 partition. And this is really another incredible feature of Flink. And again, I can focus in the business, not in the technology, the performance of the machine, or the performance of the network. Another big topic that I talked before is marketing. No? Lottoland is focused in the core team of Lottoland is focused on the main thing of the business. No, make the ledger working well, bonus system, wallet, and BI is providing the data to the marketing system. Again, a few years ago, we provided data in daily batch. Now we have systems that provide data every hours. But there are some systems, like for example, marketing tools, real-time marketing tools, where they want to have the data in near real time. Really, not near real time. They want to have the data in hard real time. Then we are able to provide data with a latency that less than 1 second. Different use case that we can use with a specific use case that we're using with Flink. We have a tool like Evergates, this is marketing tools, or the level that is a push message tool. And we have integration with this tool directly from BI system, from streaming data that is updated in near real time or hard real time. We have some process that is very, very complex. For example, we have tools and we have some process implementing Flink that is checking the bonus. And then when the player have a new bonus or the player consume the bonus, we update the marketing tools. Then the marketing guys can implement process in the web page that show the user if they have bonus or don't have bonus. Because we also provide data in hard time to the marketing tools, they also can personalize the web page based on the attributes of the player. For example, preference, state of the user life cycle, and then in base of the information, the behavior of the player is different, then the marketing tools are showing different things to specific users. No? Then we can personalize the tools, and the marketing guy have the data updated in real time. This process is really, a lot of them is test. We test a lot of things. Oh, it's not working, then we move to another things, and then it's like it takes a lot of time. But with Flink, the cost to implement new process is not take months. No, you can implement new process in few hours or few days. No, then we can test. It's not working. Okay, create a new process, and it's a really nice tool to work with marketing guys because we can provide what they need. No, they need the data updated. They need the data consistent, and then they can use they can do their work. No, that is in marketing. No, improve the experience of the user and show the relevant data to the user that make our company more profitable. For example, this is the image of the Flink process that is updating bonus in the marketing tools. I don't have time to explain, but take a few hours to explain this. Can go next, please. Finance processing is the same. At the beginning, we have a batch processing to create a report every hours. And some point of the life of this process is consumed a lot of machines. The process was slow, stopped to work, didn't work. Then we move to real time. The batch processing takes 3 months to create the first version. When we move to Flink and we do all the join merge using Flink from different sources of data, we take 1 week to have a process that is working nicely. It's updated the data in a few seconds, really in real time. And something very, very important, the data analysts or the people that create the report, they don't need to understand nothing about real time. They have the data updated in the database. For them, very transparent, and then can provide data. Really, we are providing data every hour. For example, with finance reporting, but we can do it every 5 minutes if we want, no? But we know that 1 hour is enough. And here we have compliance. It's our big topic now in the last 2 years. We have a lot of regulatory that we need to be sure that we are doing. We have different markets. Every market have different law, different rules. And sometimes we need to create some specific logic to provide the data to be sure that we are compliant. No? For example, you have players that spend more than X amount, we need to send an alert. We need to make a review. If we have a specific process to detect fraud in the system. We have a specific process to detect attack in the system. And some of this process is very, very, very complex to implement in normal ETL process. No? But now with Flink, for example, I implemented last week a new process that is related with user agents, the IP of the player, of the user, to provide the data to the fraud tools. And in 1 day, I have the everything ready working, and it takes more time to understand that everything was working well than doing the task. No? In another system, I think it's really, you can do it, but not with the agile that we can do it with Flink. And conclusion is, now today with the business, the pressure is increased every day. we have more requests every day. The people, before we have requests that take 1 month to do it, then 1 week. Now the people want the data every day. Now we are moving to real-time reports, but now we have start to have requests that say, no, real-time is not enough. We want to forecast. This Flink is really a tool that is helping us to develop quickly. It's agile and reactive programming that is aligned with the actual process that we have in development. And for me, it is a tool that if we don't have this tool, there's a lot of things that for me it's impossible to do it. No? It's a nice tool. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry. A bit take more time.
No worries, Jose. Thank you so much for sharing with us the sophisticated BI system that you have built at Lottoland. I'm very happy to see that Aiven for Apache Kafka is one of the tools that you are using. But let's continue our session with a demo. Jason, could you show us how to build a system to score and rank the gaming players in real time?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks, Quinn, and thanks, Jose, for giving us some really great insight into your business and how you're using Flink. There was a couple of keywords that really resonated with me. One was never lost data. First of all, you're global, and I think that's one of the keys that Aiven brings to the table is that we have our services can be deployed globally to put it right near your customers and to meet the business use cases for your compliance reasons. And there was another word you just said. It's magical, and I tend to agree. Flink can be really magical behind the scenes, but I think the abstraction that Flink really brings to the table for allowing any of your users in your business really just levels up and brings so much more value to your customers. Really quickly, what I wanted to do is for this synthesized data that we generated was sort of to emulate what we talked about, what Jose was talking about, but we didn't actually use their data. The idea is that we wanted to emulate in our demo today bets that people were placing on various systems, and how do we give more credits to those systems, to those people, excuse me, for placing more and more bets or bets on data on games that we have high value on. I'm not going to jump down to the demo there for the solution because I'm going to walk you through it on the next slide. The idea here is this is a simple workflow. Flink, just so you realize, has something that with SQL out of the box has two sort of objects that you're going to think about. Tables that represent underlying data sources, as well as the jobs that are going to be manipulating or aggregating or moving data around. So everything here in the square box is a representative of a logical table inside of Flink. And then the diamond shape is the job. So here we're going to be pulling in static data, which is the multiplier of data for the bets to credits. We're pulling those in from Postgres. The raw data are coming in from a microservice that we're emulating. We're pushing them onto a topic. We're going to then write a Flink job to enrich that data. We're going to join that data and basically build a new data stream coming out of it. And this is the new table. It's called enriched bets. We're then going to take that enriched bets, send it in two different locations. One is into a new Flink job, which is going to aggregate that data and window that data. We're also going to send it back down to Kafka so that if someone else in the business wants that data, they'll have that capability to use that. We're going to send that data from the aggregation out to OpenSearch. Again, OpenSearch is going to be great for adding aggregation and higher level windowing, higher level searching, and higher level histograms that we're going to be using in our dashboarding tool, which is Grafana in this case. So this is how we're going to stitch these high level enrichment and data windowing use cases all in one piece. Let's get right into it. First, let's go back a slide. Real quick, this is the landing page that you're going to see inside of Aiven. This is our console, and you can see here, out of that architectural diagram, we can bring to you 5 of those services. No need to go and hunt around for them. We have what you need. You're going to see that we have them all deployed in one place. We're on Google, the various sizes, and they're all up and running. You can also, one thing to note that is, when you're using a provider such as Aiven, there's no networking charges between any of these services because Flink's moving a lot of data potentially. And we just make it really simple for your TCO so that when you're pulling data from Postgres or Kafka, enriching it, moving it around, you're not going to be nickel and dimed for that networking charges. It's all included in that single price for the service. This gives you the single pane of glass that you're going to need for monitoring and managing all of the services within this diagram, but also within your business scope. The next slide is I'm going to go really quickly through because I want to be conscious of the time today to get to questions and answers. This is the data table that we're going to be pulling out. It's going to basically hold the category and subcategory for sports, maybe football, lottery, win for life, etc. And then the multiplier that we're going to be using to multiply and give more credits based on what people are betting. And the bottom right here is just an example of data. So Betting Expert 01 has placed a bet on the lottery, the particular bingo, for $2. Those are the two logical tables that are backed by Postgres. Anytime that Postgres and Kafka, anytime new data comes into Postgres, for example, there's no need to change the data in Flink. Flink recognizes the change. So for example, if we wanted to change one of the multipliers, we just change it in the database, Flink is going to recognize it for you. That goes back to the magical statement that Jose mentioned. Moving along, this is where you're going to start seeing the power and the value add of Flink. This simple SQL statement is joining the two data in real time for your business to build an enriched data flow. We're joining on the type of bet, the category and subcategory, so maybe sports and football, and we're enriching the data to push it downstream. The next piece of the puzzle is really then the secondary use case, which is the windowing. This SQL statement, while it looks a little complex, is relatively straightforward. There's two pieces going on here. One is that the internal SQL statement is going to capture the window of time and aggregate by user the total number of bets that they've placed, the total amount of money they've spent, as well as the credits that they've earned for those. All of this data is then aggregated, as Jose mentioned, on that window, where Flink is managing that for you. This inner SQL is doing that for you. Anyone that knows SQL can write this statement. The outer real quick select statement is just a transformation of data types. The Flink data type for the timestamp doesn't exactly match with what you want to, with what OpenSearch is doing. By transforming that data and we're writing into OpenSearch, this gives us the capability to do time filters and time sorting. So again, really simple, we get to format the data to where we want it to land. The next piece is the screenshot of what we offer right now as our console. We're building this console, we're enriching this console, we're making it better. The idea here though is it's really simple. We have on the left, we have the four tables that we've defined. The bets topic, this is the raw data. The bets topic enriched, this is the output of the first job. And this is the credit lookup from Postgres. Again, and this is the output topic for where we want to land the data in OpenSearch. But when I want to do this aggregation, all I need to do is give it a name. I want to then give it the two tables. This is the enriched data that I want to read from. And this is the output index that I'm going to write it to. We write our SQL statement, and then the only thing that's not on this screenshot is in the bottom right is called the launch button. It's going to then validate that SQL statement for you to ensure that it's going to work with all of the columns, first of all, for the data tables that you're using, and to make sure that it's going to be valid when it pushes it out into the Flink system to run on a continuous basis for you. You won't have to be tracking down runtime errors for SQL statements anymore. The next is I want to go quickly is just the simple dashboarding. There's lots of capabilities that are built into the Flink service on Aiven for dashboarding. Here you can see that we have 2 jobs running. You can configure how many jobs you want to run on that Flink service. The job manager is managing and showing you the entire state and the health of the Flink service in terms of how much memory is being used, what are the logs are going, any errors that are coming out. And then in the particular job, as Jose was mentioning, you were talking about checkpointing. Checkpointing is really important so that you're not losing the data and you're not losing state. It's showing you where it is when processing the data either from Postgres or from Kafka, as well as any particular exceptions that may have occurred. We all know that there's the occasional bad data that gets into your topic. This is going to allow you to see potential bad data that's coming in that you haven't necessarily accounted for, or someone changed their data upstream of you. Moving along, this is some of the graphs that you can then see with that we've built through the open search plugin that we plugged into Grafana. This gives us some of the metrics that we are able to easily show on the aggregated data that we're pushing out. Moving forward, this one I'm going to sort of jump through because there's a slide at the end that I really want to get to, which is this is just aggregating the bets per minute. We can see that all of the users, which is a color per line, and how many bets they're making. So anywhere between 0 bets and maybe 12 bets per second, or per minute, excuse me. This is, again, all real-time data that we can see. This is the sum of the bets. So how much are these users betting? And we can see towards the end here, City Life 01 has bet, I guess, maybe they've pressed their luck and they've wagered again when they've won here and then they've won again. So they're betting a little bit more per minute in that instance. And the last slide here is the sum of the credits. This is going to show us these spikes right here is going to show us that these bettors are placing bets on a product that is a higher value. So we're issuing more credit to them. Maybe there's some trends that we can learn from this as we're watching this data in real time. Are there people moving around our websites betting on certain things based on promos so that we can monitor the promo that's coming through, for example? Moving forward, again, I just wanted to show you that Aiven truly is the umbrella that we give you all of this capability for all of these various open source solutions, whether it's databases, streaming, in-memory databases, time series databases. This is what Aiven brings to the table, and we manage them all the same way. We're managing the startup, the security, the monitoring, the metrics, the availability. All of the high availability can be done for you. It's all taken place. Engineers love to do things in terms of getting things up and running. But at the end of the day, is that adding the value to your business? I think that you'd rather have your engineers adding the value to answer the business questions for your customers or your internal processes rather than standing up and hardening systems like this. Let Aiven do that work for you. And again, as you can see on the bottom there, we're on all of the clouds, major clouds. So we can be put right next to your customers' data. Again, let's get you up and running on Flink in the Aiven console. We're adding new features all the time. We want to hear your feedback. We're in beta mode, and this is why we're working with companies like Lottoland to learn what we need to meet our customers' demands. Try out Flink. We're offering, because you've joined this webinar today, Flink Aiven Lottoland is the key credit code that you can put in to get $500 of credit. Moving forward, again, we just want to emphasize that we are capable of deploying any of our services to put it right next to your customers. As Jose mentioned, they are a global business. They're deployed in many countries around the world, and it doesn't necessarily make sense to put all of their services and all of their data in one location for various compliance reasons or for network latency. We can put the data and the services near your customers. Again, there's the $500 credit. Flink Aiven Lottoland is the credit code. So I hope we didn't rush through that too much. Again, Jason Hepp, please reach out. And Quinn, I want to turn it over to you so that we can get to some, hopefully there's some great questions to be answered today.
Thank you, Jason, for the super interesting demo. This example is for real-time scoring and ranking gaming players, though I can see that the similar logic and tools can also be applied to so many other use cases. And let's start our Q&A session. We did see some great questions from the audience. The first question is for Jose. Could you share why are you considering a managed Flink service instead of doing it in-house? Jose.
Okay. Yeah, at the beginning we have everything on premise, and we started years ago. But now in the last 3-4 years, we start to move to the cloud. Then at the end, we are going to have a mixed system. No, sometimes some things is on premise because for regulatory we need to have, and another part of the system is going to be in the cloud. And then in this case, for example, with Kafka, I'm now using Kafka with Aiven and Flink. I have engineers that know how to deploy, because we would like to understand how it's working the process, but it's not our business, no? My business is not be able to with you that Flink running every day 24 hours, no? I need to understand how it's working because I need to make sure that I can tune in the tool correctly. But I want that my engineers spend the time learning the business, no? The engineer, but they need to understand how the business is working because it's our source of money, no? Our source of money is not then we want to know how to do it, but I don't want to have the engineer working 24 hours to be sure that the thing is working, no? They need to focus, be sure that the processing are doing what we want to do, no? And it's a mix, no? You need to understand technology, but you need to understand the use case also, no? And BI is not enough big to have a team to maintain the system, no? Then for us, it's cheap. Well, cheap. It costs money, but it's more cheap that they have dedicated engineer. And then at the end, you have resource, you need to be efficient with your resource, no? Then you need to focus your resource where you make money, no? If not my boss, then I problem with my boss, no? They say, oh, what are you doing with the money, no? I have this question every year, no? Where I put the money, no? And then we have experience with Kafka, and Lottoland seems happy with the service that you provide. I don't know what we are going to do, but slowly I think we deploy some part of the Flink in Aiven. Because it's a natural way, no? It's how we do it, no? Everything.
Thank you, Jose. That makes a lot of sense. I'm very happy to hear that you are happy with the Kafka service that we are offering and that you are considering the managed Flink that Aiven would be offering very soon. Are we ready for the next question? This one is a little bit technical and also to Jose. Seems like people are very interested in how Jose has been building the data infrastructure for Lottoland. The question is, would be nice to hear how Akka plus Pinode plus Flink plus Spark are being used in some flows. So Jose, you can also see the question in the chat.
Yeah, I see the question. Yeah, we're using Akka because it's very efficient tool. Then, well, Akka is also easy to integrate with Flink, but we use Akka because we have an IP REST service. It's really quick, it's powerful. And then Pinode, yeah, Pinode we are using Pinode last year. We started last year using Pinode. Now it's the more we are in the early stage. But Pinode is a new. It's like Pinode is like Flink again, and a new tool that's incredible because we can create metrics of the player in real time. You can ask, okay, give me for the player the total net loss in the last 30 days and the last 3 days, and it takes 2 seconds to get the answer with millions of players, no? And then how you ingest data in Pinode with Kafka? How you to prepare the data to send to Kafka that is going to consume by Pinode with Flink? And this is like a pipeline, it's the perfect pipeline, no? Flink, prepare the data, put in Kafka, Pinode consume, and then you have IP REST service that they're making questions to the Pinode to provide the metrics in real time to the users, to the front-end example. Then the combination is magic. Spark, we are not using a lot of Spark. We're using Spark for very specific things, and Spark and Flink are overlapping a bit. Few tasks that you can do, for example, we start to use a Flink in version 1.3. Then we are still not using a lot about the SQL, no? But then the last version of SQL of Flink are really incredible, no? And they say overlapping a bit with Spark, no? I think they have different use cases. And the streaming process that the Spark have, they copy from Flink in the last version, no? The streaming version of Flink, I think, is better than Spark. Sorry, we can discuss about this, no? But I like more the streaming version of Flink than the Spark streaming. And we can talk a lot. We can talk 1 week about this, no? It's not a lot of things, no, to talk.
Thank you, Jose. I hope that the answer was sufficient for the people who asked the question. We are running out of time for this webinar. We do have enough time for one last question, and this question is for you, Jason. You can see the question in the chat. The question is, I saw that you are using a web GUI. Can we define Flink pipeline also via scripting or Terraform? And can you also upload Flink jobs with other language other than the SQL? So Jason, the stage is yours.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So first and foremost, you're right. I had a couple of screen grabs for the console. It's just easier to represent that rather than looking at text, scrolling through a terminal. But for all of our services, we offer REST interfaces, command line interfaces, Terraform, as well as the console. We also offer a Kubernetes operator for Postgres and Kafka, and we're enriching that and bringing that to our other services, in the near future. The second part of that question is can we, upload Flink jobs? At the moment, not yet. We've really started to figure out SQL as our integration platform for the various pieces of the Aiven puzzle that we bring to the table for you. That is on our roadmap. We're investigating how to best do that so that we have, there's certainly various concerns around that. For example, even just legal. How can someone bring something to us that might be under a license? We need to make sure that we can't run that code, otherwise we're in a license violation. So we're working on the strategies for that to bring that absolute need and the ultimate power of Flink to our end users. And then just to sort of round it all off, as Jose was saying, he doesn't want his engineers, managing these services, and that's why they're looking at bringing, say, Flink as a managed service provider. And that's the power of, say, infrastructure as code as Terraform, because it just lessens that burden and it gives you the auditing capability of the infrastructure as code as you're changing your infrastructure throughout time, and is building that consistent platform for you as an end customer across all of the ecosystem from Aiven. So I hope that gives you the insight that, yes, we're a REST-first company. We do have the console, but we have higher level languages that you can use for managing our Flink service as well as any other service.
Thank you, Jason. That was a very clear answer. We are unfortunately out of time for this webinar. I would like to say thank you, everyone, for being here with us until the very end. I hope you found this session useful and also you learned something new about Flink. A big thanks to our speakers, Jose and Jason, for sharing your time and knowledge with us. It has been great having you here. For the audience, if you want to watch this session again, a recording of the webinar will be available later on Aiven YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to take advantage of the $500 credit to try out Flink and Kafka with Aiven. Take care and see you in future events from Aiven. Goodbye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.